Your grocery bill's skyrocketing, your job's on the line, and the American dream is slipping through your fingers. This isn't a bad dream, it's the brutal reality of Donald Trump's tariffs in 2025, a policy sold as a lifeline for workers but delivering a deathblow to the economy. These tariffs are bleeding families dry, obliterating jobs, and plunging businesses into chaos. The evidence is undeniable, the pain is real, and the betrayal is unforgivable. Let's tear apart this economic disaster backed by hard-hitting data, real-time quotes from those hit hardest, and the damning analysis from major news outlets exposing Trump's trade war for what it is, a reckless, self-inflicted wound on America. Every American household is feeling the sting. The tax foundation slams it home. Trump's tariffs are hitting you with an extra $1,200 in costs this year alone. That's $1,200 ripped from your savings, your kid's future, your life. It's a tax hike dressed up as patriotism, says Kyle Pomerleau, senior fellow at the Tax Foundation, and he's dead right. The Penn Wharton budget model projects an 8% GDP drop, a 7% wage cut, and a lifetime loss of $58,000 for middle-income families. That's not just a number, it's a gut punch to the middle class. These losses are twice as large as a revenue-equivalent corporate tax increase, warns Kent Smethurst, faculty director at Penn Wharton, exposing the tariffs' crippling economic toll. Major retailers like Walmart and Target are sounding the alarm, with Walmart's CFO John David Rainey stating on May 15, 2025, "We're seeing higher prices and continued uncertainty over Trump's tariffs. Your groceries, your electronics, your clothes, everything's pricier because Trump's trade war is driving inflation through the roof." CNBC reported on June 5, 2025, that retail lobby groups warn of job losses as companies scramble to cut costs, with AlixPartners modeling price hikes on everyday goods like shoes and sweaters. This isn't protectionism, it's economic punishment. The job market is a slaughterhouse, and Trump's tariffs are the blade. Goldman Sachs delivers the grim truth. These tariffs could wipe out 400,000 jobs across the economy. Job losses will far outweigh gains, says Ernie Tedeschi, director of economics at Yale's Budget Lab, who predicts 200,000 to 300,000 fewer people in the labor market every year. Harry Halzer, senior fellow at Brookings, goes further, warning on April 8, 2025, that job losses could be in the millions. Real people are paying the price. Stellantis, a major automaker, announced on April 3, 2025, it was laying off 900 workers in Michigan and Indiana, directly blaming Trump's tariffs for production pauses in Canada and Mexico. Volvo followed suit, cutting 125 jobs at its South Carolina plant in May 2025, with a company spokesperson telling Business Insider, "The tariffs are a significant factor in our workforce adjustments. These are American workers, not statistics, thrown under the bus by a policy that's failing spectacularly." Ford, an icon of American industry, is teetering on the edge. CEO Jim Farley didn't hold back, telling Reuters on February 6, 2025, "If Trump's policies, including tariffs and EV subsidy cuts, continue, many of our jobs will be at risk." Ford's facing a $2.5 billion tariff hit, with a $1.5 billion earnings blow in 2025 alone, forcing them to suspend annual guidance. Farley warned in January 2025, a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico would blow a hole in the U.S. industry we've never seen. The New York Times reported on June 4, 2025, that Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis are desperately lobbying for exemptions, arguing these tariffs hurt American companies more than foreign ones. This isn't about bringing jobs home. It's about sending them to the graveyard. You might have heard claims of companies like Ford fleeing the U.S. Let's be clear. They're not bolting, but they're fighting for survival. The Washington Post noted on June 5, 2025, that retailers, wholesalers, and distributors are grappling with pervasive uncertainty as tariffs disrupt supply chains. A car dealership in upstate New York told the Federal Reserve's Beige Book, "Our inventory's been depleted by Americans rushing to buy ahead of tariffs." An electronics manufacturer added, "Trump's sweeping policy changes are raising hell with businesses." The Fed's report released in June 2025 mentioned tariffs 80 times and uncertainty 76 times, painting a picture of an economy on edge. Meanwhile, some foreign firms like Campari and Compal Electronics are eyeing U.S. expansion to dodge tariffs but don't celebrate yet. A CNBC survey from April 7 to 10, 2025 found 61% of businesses would rather move supply chains to low-tariff countries like Guatemala than invest here. Trump's tariffs are pushing jobs away, not bringing them back. The broader economic fallout is catastrophic. The OECD slashed its global growth forecast to 2.9% for 2025, with U.S. growth dropping to 1.6%, down from 2.2% projected in March. Trump's trade war is expected to slow growth in the world's leading economies, the OECD warned on June 3, 2025. The Center for American Progress calls it a major economic and strategic blunder, noting that U.S. exports, like wheat and soybeans to China, have plummeted 11% and 25% since April 2024. Deloitte projects a mere 0.7% increase in U.S. exports for 2025, down from a 5% annual average. A Port of Los Angeles official told CAP booking volumes for oceanborne exports fell 30% in 2 weeks after Trump's Liberation Day tariff announcement. This isn't a trade war, it's a trade massacre. Even Trump's own allies are starting to crack. Fox News, typically his cheerleader, is asking tough questions. On June 9, 2025, The New Republic reported that Fox anchors pressed Trump officials on the tariffs failures, with economist Catherine Edwards stating, "If you have an economic policy built on not truth and destruction, you either pursue it to catastrophe or start backpedaling." The Labor Department's May 2025 report showed a loss of 8,000 manufacturing jobs, with hiring slowing to just 139,000 jobs added. Fed Chair Jerome Powell didn't sugarcoat it, telling reporters on June 19, 2025, "You see the effects of tariffs: rising unemployment, inflation, and slowing growth since March." Yet Trump's team spins a fantasy. On June 18, 2025, Trump claimed on The Steve Gruber Show, "Money is pouring in $88 billion from tariffs." Pure fiction, when Reuters reports companies have lost $34 billion in sales and costs. The betrayal runs deep. Trump promised to protect workers, but he's crushing them. Those 900 Stellantis workers, those 125 Volvo employees, the thousands at risk at Ford, they're the collateral damage of his failed experiment. Families are paying $1,200 more a year while jobs vanish. Businesses are bleeding billions, with CEOs like Goldman Sachs' David Solomon telling analysts in June 2025, "Uncertainty around tariffs creates material risks to the U.S. economy." Over half of CEOs surveyed by the conference board expect conditions to worsen in the next 6 months. This isn't America first. It's America abandoned. The evidence is overwhelming. Goldman Sachs, Penn Wharton, the OECD, and even Fox News see the disaster unfolding. Trump's tariffs are a lie, a betrayal, and a policy that's gutting the nation. Demand the truth. Fight this catastrophe.